Alright, so this is Sprock. I'm gonna get Sprock. 24. I think my brother quoted, you can quote it for me.
Psalm 24 verse 1.
No, I'm saying what it says. You can remember.
Wisdom shall praise herself, shall glory in the midst of her.
Wisdom shall praise
herself.
It's still not sure. I'll tell you what, I'll read it from there. Okay, this is Wisdom of Solomon 24, verse 1. Wisdom shall praise herself, and shall glory in the midst of her people.
Shall glory in the midst of her people. Go ahead. So wisdom has a people. Go ahead.
In the congregation of the Most High shall she open her mouth and triumph before his power.
So in the midst of the congregation of the Most High, alright, she shall glory, she shall triumph herself. So in the congregation of the Most High, for the Israelites, wisdom is found there. Alright? Showing you that in the kingdom to come, there's going to be perfect wisdom and understanding. Okay? There's not going to be no folly out here. There's not going to be no folly. The nations are going to be separate. They're going to have no... Like if you look around, you see all kind of people. If you look around, you see Edomites, Israelites,
some Hamites there too.
see them Cushites, alright? See these different nations, man. But the Most High separated the nations, so we're gonna go by that wisdom. So in the kingdom, there's not gonna be like a melting pot. It's gonna be complete division. So racism is gonna be a daily practice, man. We're gonna be practicing racism on a daily basis.
When I did January,
we're gonna be straight up racist in the kingdom, man. Go ahead.
Verse 3, once again, I came out of the mouth, I'll read verse 2. In the congregation of the Most High shall she open her mouth.
Shall she open her mouth. In the congregation of the Most High, wisdom shall open her mouth. This is the congregation of the Most High, the tabernacle of David. And wisdom is opening up her mouth in this congregation. Go ahead.
And the triumph before his power. Verse 3. I came out of the mouth of the Most High and covered the earth as a cloud.
Right. That's what Yahweh did, man. I came out of the mouth of the Most High and covered the earth as a cloud, man. Go ahead.
I go in high places, and my throne is in a cloud pillar. I alone could pass the circuits of heaven and walk in the bottom of the deep, in the waves of the sea, and in all the earth.
Right, because everything was created by the word of the Most High, which is the wisdom. The Most High used his wisdom to create the earth, the waves. Okay? All the elements you see, wisdom walks through all these elements, man. Read that part again.
I came out of the mouth of the Most High.
Right, I came out of the mouth of the Most High. Go ahead.
And covered the earth.
And covered the earth. Go ahead.
As a cloud.
Right.
I dwell in high places.
I dwell in high places. Go ahead.
And my throne is in a cloud pillar.
In a cloudy pillar. Go ahead.
I alone can pass the circuits of heaven.
I can pass the circuits of heaven. So the space, the cosmos, the stars, all these things was created by the wisdom of the Most High. Wisdom came out of the mouth of the Most High and created and compassed the circle of the heavens.
in the waves of the sea,
in the waves of the sea, go ahead,
and in all the earth.
and in all the earth, man. So all these things was created by the wisdom of the Lord, man. All right? But that takes wisdom to separate the element of the earth from the element of the oceans, man. Where the oceans don't override the earth, man.
Right, they don't
It's
mix up.
Yeah, they don't mix up. Like it takes, like even for this element not to overlap and mix with this element, it stays separate, man. You know what I'm saying?
So even the waters are more in order than mankind.
Yeah, exactly. You know what I'm saying? Everything's created by perfect wisdom. You know what I'm saying? How this element here doesn't mesh. When I put it on the ground, it doesn't mix with this element. It stays separate. You know what I'm saying? Or the element of this pole right here. Everything that you see was created in perfect wisdom. The animals, the different insects, how they all stay in order. They only mate their own species, their own kind. And the Most High put it in their mind to only mate with their own kind. Animals don't go and try and have sex with human beings. Because it's not, the Most High put that wisdom, that's part of their makeup. Okay? That's right. Even the way we were constructed. Our heart, the lungs, you know what I'm saying? The genitals of a man, and then you got the genitals of a woman. So even in that, the Most High created that in perfect wisdom.
What's the last scripture to back up to the same? This is Proverbs 8 and 29. When he gave to the sea his decree that the water should not pass his commandment.
Right.
When he appointed the foundations of the earth.
We read it louder. Read it louder.
Read it again. When he gave to the sea his decree that the water should not pass his commandment.
Right.
When he appointed the foundations of the earth.
Right. So the waters is not to overlap and to submerge the earth, man. And the Most High gave the waters that commandment. Alright? That's why when you go to the beach, the waters come up and then it goes back down again. Why? Because that's the commandment of the Lord. Okay? That's right. That the earth is meant to have his portion and the oceans is meant to have his portion. You know? So the Most High created that order between the earth and the ocean. That they shouldn't merge together. They should stay divided. Okay? And usually when the waters overlap the earth, that's because that's the Most High's judgment. So something has happened to where the Most High that's disturbed the natural order of things. And the Most High sends that order for the water to overlap the earth, man.
Exactly, and that's when you had the flood. The flood came in because of that.
Yeah, right.
The flood didn't just happen
Because of sin.
right, because of sin. But like we're just adding on to what the brother said, that was a beautiful point. Because the waters, the reason why you had the flood, because the Lord allowed that flood to pretty much
To
overlap.
Right.
And that's how that went down.
Right.
So any form of little thing or could be a micro thing to a large thing happens because of the will of the Heavenly Father.
Right. Because something has happened on the earth that shouldn't have happened. And that's what triggers the violence of the Lord. And that's what triggers off something that the Most High ordained the commandment that should never happen. That the oceans should keep its order, like how the brothers read. Read that again.
Okay, this is Proverbs 8 and 29. When he gave to the sea his decree that the water should not pass his commandment. When he appointed the foundations of the earth.
Right, so that really shouldn't happen, man. Floods and that, man. That shouldn't be happening because the Most High gave a commandment that you shouldn't be doing it. So that's how you know that the Most High is truly in a violent spirit, man. When he sends forth the commandment that the water should transgress that commandment, man, and destroy the people that's on the earth. That's how you know the people on the earth did something wicked, man.
Exactly.
For the earth to transgress that commandment and destroy them.
Exactly. And
enter into a boundary he's not meant to go into.
And just to add more what he was saying, because if you go go back into the history, I think it's in 2 Kings, the 17th chapter, when them Cushites went into that land, right? They weren't really keeping the commandments the right way. When the Israelites went out of the land, I'm talking about the northern kingdom, the Cushites went in there with their gods and all of that other stuff, but then they came to terms with keeping the commandments, and when they didn't keep the commandments right, what happened? A bunch of lions came and devoured them.
Right. Most High set nature on them.
Yep.
Most High brought the forces of nature on them.
And even in Pompeii, that volcano erupted and took out Pompeii.
Something that shouldn't have happened because of the sins of the people. That's what's going to happen in the times to come.
People are sick out here, man.
That's right.
That's why
She thinks she's a 9, bro.
Yeah.
She thinks she's a 9 out.
Yeah, she thinks she's a 9, yeah.
Hot, spicy, salty.
Right. That's what she thinks. Actually thinks she's the shit, man. You know what I mean? But it just goes to show you that we need to be healed. The whole nation needs to be healed, man. Because I mean, we can make fun of her, but you know, I'm just putting her out there and putting certain other guys out there, man, just to indicate, look, we need Yahweh Bashmi Al-Shah, because see, what man has become is proud. And when you become proud, what happens is you try to create this facade to hide the truth. And the truth of the matter is that you're fucked up, you know? But the true way to go about it is to confess to the Most High that yeah, we're in an effed up situation, ultimately, because it shows humility, and it also eventually so that we can repent. You know?
That's good, man. I don't do any more than that. That's the point. That's it. Yeah. Right, so the earth, the Most High gave the commandment to the ocean to keep its rank, and let earth do its thing. Because on earth, the Most High put certain animals and insects there to live there, man. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And people, I mean, to multiply where people are supposed to multiply. On the earth, man. So Most High is bringing certain judgments on the earth, so the waters can't intervene, man. The water's got to let judgment play out. Got to let things play out on earth, man. The waters will only overlap if certain signs that the Most High wants to signify. Where else we at, man?
Verse 6.
Yeah, go on, yeah.
It says, in the waves of the sea, and in all the earth,
Right.
and in every people and nation, I got a possession.
Right, so wisdom got a possession in every people and tongue. That's why you often hear about other nations and their words of wisdom. And the Chinese, they have their little words, their little proverbs. Japanese, the Ammonites, okay? The other nations have their little words of wisdom. So wisdom had its portion in every tongue and people. All right? That's right, man. Especially the Chinese as well. The Chinese had their little words of wisdom and their little proverbs, man. Okay? The East Indians, the Japhites, okay?
Ishmael.
Right, Ishmael. That's right, go ahead.
Verse 7. With all these I sought rest, and in whose inheritance shall I abide?
In whose inheritance shall I abide? Go ahead.
So the creator of all things, give me a commandment, and he that made me cause my tabernacle to rest, and said, let thy dwelling be in Jacob.
Let wisdom's dwelling be in where?
In Jacob.
Right. In Jacob. Okay? So wisdom's true dwelling place is within the tabernacles of Jacob, right? Okay?
Going back to what you read in Psalms 147.
Right. Right, he showed his word unto Jacob. Okay? His statutes and his judgments unto Israel. You have not dealt so with any other people. And as for his judgments, they have not known them. Praise ye Yahweh. Okay? The other nations, the Most High don't put a spirit upon them to know his judgments. Okay? They're just victims of the Most High's judgments. Alright, but they're not to know that. The only people that are supposed to know the Lord's judgments are the Israelites, mainly the prophets. Okay? The Most High speaks by his prophets. He multiplies visions and similitudes onto his prophets by the ministry of the prophets. Okay? So not even all Israel is really given to the understanding of these prophecies, man. But the Lord's holy elect, the firstborn of all spirits, man. Alright? The Most High reveal his secrets unto them. Okay? That's correct.
And you know it too, and I want to go back to what this brother said. You know, the head brother said, right? You know, because he's coming up in the truth, you know, so I gotta say that. But basically, man, like what this brother said, he says something on how the majority of these people out here, they follow the exaltation of folly. And we follow folly as well. Okay? But the only difference with us is that we were able to come out of that folly and revert back to the truth. Why is that? Because, going back to what he said, because we're the begotten spirits. So we're able to fight it out and come back to this. They can't fight it out. Because they're preordained and destined to deal with folly and then be destroyed. Okay?
Right.
That's just where it's at.
That's right. That's right. A fearful thing to fall into the hands of the Lord. You know? The Lord can give you a portion that's going to only destroy you. Alright? So you got to pray that the Lord gives you a good portion. You know? Ask for mercy, man. Forgiveness. Alright? So that's the point on that. So wisdom is among Israelites. Let's go back to Isaiah. Isaiah 14.
Okay. I can use your Bible.
Taking care of it.
You see this? Verse 1. Yeah, this is Isaiah 13, verse 2. Lift ye up a banner upon a high mountain.
The high mountain, like we said, is a miracle.
Exalt the voice unto them.
That's what we're doing. Right?
Shake the hand.
Scripture says, cry loud and spare not. Lift up your voice like a trumpet. Show my people their transgression.
Right.
And let the house of Jacob know their sins, man. Scriptures tell you that, man. Alright? So really, the Most High speak. We're like miniature versions of the Most High.
That's right. Many beside
On earth. We're like the Most High on earth, man. Now you should be able to see the Most High in this brother. You should be able to see the Most High in that brother. See the Most High in this brother, Okay? You should be able to see that zeal on the Most High in a brother, the image of the Lord in every brother, man.
Well, he did say he created us in his image.
Right. Because we are like unto him. Okay? So when you see a brother, you're seeing the Most High. Really? On a spiritual level. Okay? Exalt the voice of them. What did it say?
It says, lift ye up a banner upon the high mountain, exalt the voice unto them.
Right?
Shake the hand,
Right?
that they may go into the gates of the nobles.
Right, so we know two things off of that, even one scripture. To shake the hand, meaning we're living in a time of wickedness, global wickedness and deception, which is why we're exalting the Lord's word, man. Which is why we're shaking the hand at you. When you shake your hand at somebody, like at your child, that's because your child is misbehaving. So we know that the people out here, they're doing all kind of fun. They're doing all kind of nonsense out here. That's why we out here shaking our hand onto them, saying, naughty, naughty, behave or die. Right? That's what we're doing.
Yeah.
The people are behaving, they're being seduced into a wicked way because of the wicked people, man. You see the wicked, dirty people, Esau, man, and the heathen them. Right? The scripture says, the righteous more excellent than his neighbor, but the way the wicked seduces them. So we've been seduced by the serpent, we've been deceived by them. Alright? By the ways of Esau. Okay? And Jacob is wicked anyway. It's got nothing to do with Esau's deception. They're just wicked all around. So we shake the hand onto them too. Show them their sins. Hold that. Give me Jeremiah 44 verse 4. Jeremiah 44, verse 4.
This is Jeremiah 44, verse 4. 444.
144.
It says, howbeit I sent unto you all my servants, the prophets, rising early and sending them, saying, oh, do not this abominable thing that I hate.
Right. What were they doing? They were shaking the hand unto them. Do not this abominable thing that the Lord hates. What's some of the abominable things that the Lord hates, man?
Right.
Eating swine, man.
Sodomy.
Right. Sodomy, man. You know Jake sodomized their girlfriends, man. You got a lot of Jakes out there that sodomize, man. Adultery. Jake does adultery, man. He don't care. Alright? That's right, man. Partaking in Christmas, Easter.
Eating shrimp too.
Right.
Crabs, lobster.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
That's a sin unto the Most High, man.
You know what I'm saying? Going to church, worshiping white Jesus. That's an abominable thing. That's called idolatry, man. Because they swear up and down, oh, we're not worshiping white Jesus, we're not. That's what you're doing. Right? When you call upon Jesus Christ, there was no other person called Jesus Christ except the blonde haired blue eyed white image. Right? So when you call on Jesus Christ, that's who you're praying to. That's your God, man. Do not this abominable thing that the Lord hates.
That's supposed to. It says, but they hearken not, nor incline their ear to turn from their wickedness, to burn no incense unto other gods.
Right. So they didn't want to hear that. They didn't want to hear that. Why? Because according to them, they're just following tradition. My uncles did it. My aunties did it. I learned it as I was growing up. I went to church. I see all my friends there. We have a good time. We like to dance there. It's like a big fellowship. We go into the Bible. We break down the verses wrong. We have a good time. You know what I'm saying?
So what's wrong with it?
What's wrong with it, man? And then as we read in Isaiah 13, we read on about the judgment, the other things that Isaiah saw in the vision, man, that the Most High gave to him. What's that?
Yeah, this is Psalms 125, verse 3. For the rod of the wicked shall not rest upon the lot of the righteous.
So the word to what's it again?
So it's Psalms 125, verse 3. For the rod of the wicked shall not rest upon the lot of the righteous, lest the righteous put forth their hands unto iniquity.
Right. Okay, that's a good verse. Read that again.
For the rod of the wicked shall not rest upon the lot of the righteous.
So the works of the wicked, right?
The rod.
The rod of the wicked shall not rest upon the lot of the righteous, lest the righteous put forth their hands unto iniquity. So if the righteous talking about the Israelites, the righteous isn't talking about anybody that believes in the Most High. The righteous is a metaphoric label given to the Israelites. Because only the Israelites can be righteous. How do you be righteous? By following the word of the Lord. And the Lord's word was only given to Jacob. So the only people that can be righteous are the Israelites. So it says, when the righteous put forth their hands unto iniquity, when the righteous go and start burning incense to other gods, that's when the Lord, the rod of the wicked, will rest upon the lot of the righteous, man. When we put our hands forth into iniquity. Alright? Which is why we're in the predicament we're in right now. Up underneath Esau and these other nations. Which is a sign showing you that we must have put our hands onto iniquity, man. We must have put our hands, we must have been burning incense to other gods, man. Except Yahweh. Okay? Like when you see our people in the church, they're burning incense to other gods, man. That's what they're doing.
Candles and everything.
Candles, okay? Every Sunday, and they call that the Sabbath day. Or Saturday or Friday, they call that the Sabbath day. That's not the Sabbath day. Alright?
Yep. Yeah, this is Isaiah 30, verse 10, which say to the seers, see not. Remember you said how what did you say there? You said something to the effect of how Israel, they do this, they commit iniquity, but they don't see nothing wrong with it. This is Isaiah 30, verse 10, which say to the seers, see not, and to the prophets, prophesy not unto us right things, speak unto us smooth things.
Right.
Prophesy to see.
But they don't care. Jake don't care, man. Jake don't really care about the truth of the Bible. Go up to a Christian, man, especially with them young Christians, man, little teenage Christians, and ask them about what did Jesus Christ look like according to the Bible. Tell to them he was a so-called black man. First thing they'll say is, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
That's what their mother told them.
It doesn't matter what color he is. It doesn't matter.
That's not even an answer to the question.
That's what they'll say.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what they'll say. 'Cause I've done it before, but that's what they'll say. So it doesn't matter whether he was white, purple, it doesn't matter. That means you're not concerned with the truth then. You don't care about the truth. Talking about it doesn't matter. It should matter to you because you're the one preaching the gospel. So if somebody comes along and perverts the gospel, you won't give a shit because your thing is it doesn't matter if they pervert the gospel. You're not a true Christian.
You can't be an ambassador of the Lord.
A steward of the mysteries of the Lord. If somebody comes along and perverts the mysteries of the Lord, your thing is it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter, man. How are you going to preach the truth if it doesn't matter, man? Right? It doesn't make any sense. The scriptures say they just want smooth things. When you say it doesn't matter, that's smooth to them. It's like you don't have to concern yourself about the truth. Just come and have a good time and join the fellowship. There's food, there's young people. They always say that there's food. They know the food is, Jake likes food, man. There's food. And nigga be like, oh really?
Especially if there's sausages and bacon and chicken wings. Pork chop. Yeah, chicken wings, Chicken wings.
Yeah. There's food, there's biscuits. It's calm.
It's gather.
Yeah, they'll give you a leaflet. And it looks like the leaflet looks like disco. Like the disco's going on. Jake would definitely be attracted to that, man. Speak unto us smooth things, not right things. See, when we're telling you the truth about the truth of the Lord, because we're living in a time where the serpent has deceived the whole earth. And the one thing he has deceived the whole world is the truth of the KJV Bible. They're bringing out these other Bibles, man. The New English Translation.
Adding and taking away.
This new translation Bible. That in itself is a lie. They translated it better. But they took out certain words, man. But they tell you that they translated it better. So we've been deceived. So when we bring out the truth and we say to them right things, they don't want to hear that. They say it doesn't matter. They want smooth things. Okay? So that's our people. That's the current state of the large majority of our people. They're not concerned with the truth. Alright? They don't want to know that they've been lied to. That the thing that you're in on, that you believe in, is all lies, man. It's wrong. They don't want to hear that. We're about the Bible, but as soon as you go into the Bible, they don't want to hear that.
And you know too, and they be the same guys that say, we cherry pick the scriptures, but they're doing more cherry picking the scriptures, man. You see, what we do is, yeah, we may cherry pick the scriptures, but guess what? We go into all the scriptures, man.
Sure, yeah.
Like you said, if you ask a Christian, what does this mean? What does that mean? They're supposed to give you an answer. It tells you that penis, man.
Exactly.
It says, give them answer them according to, I'm roughly paraphrasing it. So that's what you're supposed to do, man. Not saying, oh, it don't matter. Every word that's written therein matters. Okay? But like the brother said, they're not about the truth. It's all based on tradition.
Yeah. Every word inside the book, inside these different books and epistles is important. That's why it says, if you add in or take away, all these curses will be brought upon you. Why? Because every single verse in this Bible is important.
Exactly.
So if you try to remove anything out of it, or misinterpret or mistranslate any of it, you're going to get a heavy judgment for that. All right?
Exactly.
So it's the truth is very important. Okay? But like I said, our people just want smooth things. So that's why the Lord is not dealing with all his people right now. He's only dealing with the ones who he's chosen. Alright? The ones who he has selected. His elect. Okay? That's correct. That's right. Oh, do not this abominable thing that I hate, man. Okay? Our people are into abomination, man. Our people, because why? Because it's smooth things.
Yep. I was gonna say that.
It's smooth things to them, man. It makes life more easy. You know what I'm saying? Because Jake is laid back, man, dwelling in tents, man. You know? Jake is cool.
Jake don't want to ruffle on feathers.
The scripture says we're simple, man. The scripture says, how long are you simple ones? How long are you gonna love simplicity, man? Jake is simple. Jake has no desire to go around the earth conquering people by the force of the gun and formulating nuclear weapons, man, to destroy cities and great multitudes of people. Jake ain't like that, man. Jake is not like that. Jake has no intents of, yeah, man, I want to destroy people.
You just stay back and cut.
Jake is not like that, man. Jake, you don't see Jake at a UN meeting, you know, with his hat backwards, roll up to the meeting with his pants sagging. There the people know, listen, I want to see everybody with gold chains. Jake ain't like that. Jake just wants a nice, if you check most Jakes on YouTube, most Jakes, they just want a good, a sexy, big booty Brenda, or big booty Brenda.
Yeah, that big ass TV. Let's shake out them two things, man. He got his food in the refrigerator, he's good.
Jake ain't asking for much, man. Jake just wants big booty Brenda. Alright? And, you know, a couple of £1 million. That's about it, man. A house. He just wants most Jake, if you check most Jakes on YouTube, man, most Jakes just want a sexy black sister, man. That's what Jakes really want, man.